4 teams remain. But before we talk about those 4 teams, we have to talk about last week's games. We're going to start off with a bang. We're going to do it. Oregon, Ohio State, the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California. I did not expect Ohio State to blow out Oregon like that. I thought it was going to be a close game. I know the spread was Ohio State -2.5, but when I sat there and I was watching that game, I mean, Oregon got punked. Now, I want you to come in and combat it and rebuttal me, whatever you have to say about that game, because you're a diehard Oregon fan. That was tough to watch, don't you think?
Very tough. I actually went out because ESPN, I was trying to watch on ESPN, but then you have to buy a cable subscription too. So at that point, I just went out to the bars, ate some wings, watched the game in Eugene. The mood was dead in Eugene. It was rainy. 21 points in the first quarter. That's just not a good way to start the game. Offense, not moving. I crashed out after the game, looking back at it.
Oh, I saw the comments in TikTok.
Yeah, looking back at it, if you're just looking at the offensive play calls, Will Stein, respectfully, I don't hate you. You got us here, right? 13-0.
Yeah.
But, oh my goodness. First play is a run play. It's negative 2 to 3 yards, sometimes 4. Next play is a wide receiver screen. Gets us, again, 2 yards or nothing. Gets us back to line of scrimmage. And then third is a 3rd and long. We never convert. I love Dan Lanning. I'm not faulting you for this. If we're going to be transparent, we got out-coached. We got outplayed. Jeremiah Smith, I have to buy your NIL shirt because I said I would sponsor you after what you did to us, what you did to our secondary. If you watch Oregon's first game to this game, Oregon first game, more explosive plays. Evan Stewart was available. This game, Evan Stewart was not. Jordan James also left, like probably before halftime. Just looking at it, we did not have the same game plan. To believe that Ryan Day would not make adjustments with Chip Kelly, that was idiotic of us. Right?
Absolutely.
Malpractice of us. To not try something new, also not good coaching. I don't care what anyone says. We got beat. I'm not going to make excuses. That's what happened. But I do want everyone to rethink college format, the seeding format. I want them to rethink 3 weeks off since we played. I don't care what anyone says.
You and I had that conversation about that. All four teams that had the bye lost. So I thought I wrote in my notes the games with last week with the Arizona State, Texas, Notre Dame, Georgia, those two there, Ohio State, Oregon, and the other one was Boise State, Penn State. State, Penn State. I thought I wrote those in my notes, but we'll talk about those as well. But yeah, that Ohio State Oregon game, I was really confused because I was like, Oregon's this well-motored team, like they have the offense. But this was I don't want to say like, was Oregon overrated, like this, that, and the third, because Oregon was not overrated. So I don't want people to sit here and clown people because they picked Oregon to win the national championship and they were the 1 seed. That is not the case. They ran into a very high-powered Ohio State team with a lot of experience. If you look at that roster and their depth chart, they are loaded from top to bottom. We have had this conversation all year about Ohio State. It was like, if Ohio State can put it together for 60 minutes, they should win the national championship. If they play like the way they did against Oregon, they will blow the doors off of Texas. Because Texas, we have not even seen the best form of Texas. They looked very good in the first half against Arizona State. In the second half, they looked lifeless. There was no reason why Arizona State even came back in that game. You can say Arizona State should have won that game because of a targeting call and this, that. And no, it never comes down to one play. But sticking here on Ohio State, the Oregon game, Oregon didn't do really, there wasn't really anything Oregon could do. They ran into a very, very high power team. Jeremiah Smith was a problem. He wasn't a factor in the Oregon-Ohio State game back in Eugene when Oregon won 32-31 from that Will Howard play. So I don't want to sit here and bash Oregon for their bad play. Yeah, they could have showed up and maybe Dan Lanning could have coached them better, but they had a great season. They had a great year coming into the Big Ten in their very first year, getting the number 1 seed, going undefeated in regular season play along with the conference championship against Penn State. So let's not sit here and say Oregon was overrated, because I remember earlier in the year, I was like, who has Oregon really played? They ran into a really good Ohio State team. So we're not going to sit here and push them down. No, Ohio State's a really good team, and Ohio State has no excuses why they don't win the national championship. How I see it, Ethan, you're going to like this one. The Ohio State Buckeyes are the NCAA version of the Los Angeles Dodgers. You went out and you paid for Quinshot Judkins. You went out and you paid for Caleb Downs. You made sure you had to get Will Howard from the transfer portal. You paid him as well. So, and you have all this NIL money. So there's no excuses why Ohio State doesn't win the national championship. I said this way before the playoffs even started. I don't want to hear it if Ohio State doesn't make the national championship. With that roster, it's loaded from top to bottom. I feel like a broken record how many times I've repeated myself with these names: Quinshot Judkins, Travion Henderson, Jeremiah Smith, Emeka Egbuka, Caleb Downs, Denzel Burke, Noah Igben's son. I can never pronounce his name. They are talented. Sonny Styles. Like, there's a lot of talent on that team. Yeah, Caleb Downs from Alabama. So the amount of money they gave him in NIL. But hats off to Oregon on a great season. Dan Lanning did, everything he could for that team. Dylan Gabriel goes out as, a very, elite quarterback of all time in college football, broke the record, actually tied with Case Keenum for FBS for most touchdowns. I think it's 166 if I'm not mistaken. So hats off to Oregon on a great year. But let's move on to the Arizona State-Texas game. Wow, what a game.
Cam Scannable!
Oh, God. I don't want to say ate my words on that because they were containing him in the first half. Sam Levitt looked like he was seeing ghosts. He's only a freshman. Is he a freshman or is he a sophomore?
Freshman.
He's a freshman.
Westland, Oregon.
Yes, he's a freshman. So hats off to Arizona State on a great year. But Texas, they almost blew that sky high. But Texas showed out when it mattered. That overtime there was huge. And I was watching that game and I was like, Texas should be, they were blowing the doors off of them for the most. I'm like, oh my God, this is getting ugly. The first quarter, it looked like they were just taking it to them. And Arizona State had other plans. I mean, of course, Burt Auburn, Texas kicker, missed that big field goal there.
Well, wait, I don't know if you saw that. I don't know if the rule's correct. Someone took a screenshot. Yep. If a blocker stops the ball, right, but it hits the ground and still goes in, it should count.
Yep.
I don't know, because if that's technically isn't one play,
Yeah, that's very plays. Yeah, no, and that's a great point there. The one I want to go back to from this Texas-Arizona State game is the targeting call. Was that targeting? Was it not? Because some people were saying, well, it looks like he hit him in the crown. It looks like he hit him in the face mask, but then on other looks, it didn't. It's targeting in that situation is very hard to call because it's in real time. They have gone back, but it's a bang play. It's hard to say that was targeting. I know Gene Steratore on Twitter said his phone was blowing up because it looked like targeting and it should have been called. Now, I don't want to sit here and say that's SEC bias because that could have happened with a Big Ten team and a Pac-12 team, or a Big Ten team and a Big 12 team. It could have happened anywhere. It's a bang play, like you said. So, but did that play determine the outcome of the game? No. Arizona State had many other opportunities to come back and win that game. They had many other opportunities. So it's not comes down to one play. But sticking to what you said, Cam Scatterbo had a great game. Do I think he'll be good in the NFL? I think he's a hard-nosed guy. He's kind of like a Swiss Army knife type of guy. He's a ground and pound. He feels like ground beef. He's just going to punch you in the mouth. He gives me more of like a Draymond Green feel. Like he's just he's the glue to the team. He's a hard-nosed guy. He's going to give you all he's got. Kind of like how Alex Anzalone is for the Lions. He's a very hard-nosed guy.
Dan Campbell guy.
Yeah, he's not super skilled, but he is very, very physical. He's a very tough.
You don't think he's skilled? Guy. Receiving, throwing.
Yeah, I mean, he's. I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to be high on him on draft day. I don't know. Do you like? There's a lot of other explosive backs. Like if you go by running back in that draft, like I think he'd be a good fit with like Jim Harbaugh. Like that physical style football. I'm not going to be like, oh my gosh, he's giving me like Quinshot Judkins or Dylan Sampson vibes or running backs like that. Just explosiveness. Oh, I think everyone is. He's just giving me the vibes of like very physical. He's got that, downhill ability, but I don't know if he's a starter in the NFL. I don't know.
I don't know if he's a premier back, but I think if you give him the right, formation, the right play calling, the right situation, he'll come in and he'll be efficient.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is you know how it is with college to the NFL. Like the talent he's playing against in college to the NFL, everyone's just as fast, everyone's just as physical. So it's like, does he match up well? It just depends on where. I don't see him being a first, second, or third round guy.
Imagine if he goes.
Don't say the Eagles.
The Ravens. No, the Ravens.
Oh,
have a backup behind Derrick Henry that can stay healthy. And be just as big and efficient, just like him. That'd be
Depends. I
very
guess
nice.
depends on what the Ravens will want to do, who they'll want to draft. I mean, depends on what they'll want to do in the draft when it comes to
Yeah.
that, because the Ravens might be winning the Super Bowl. Oh, he's an Eagles guy. He doesn't like that one. No, but let's go back to the Penn State Boise State game.
Hey,
I think we all saw this one coming. What's up?
come on, we knew it. I said it.
Oh,
I
Penn
said
State rolled
Genty.
them.
Yeah, that offensive line is
Oh
not
my
going to
gosh.
compete with that defensive line depth. Bill
No,
Carter, I
no
think he was
way.
out right after the first
I
quarter.
I didn't see him a lot during that game. However,
Yeah.
though, Tyler Warren, absolute mismatch. I know you want him on the Eagles. He's a really good player.
Mhm.
That guy is going to cause Notre Dame fits this week. He is going to cause them absolute fits in the Orange Bowl in Miami. We will get to that. However, Penn State, Boise State, hats off to Boise State in a great season. I think everyone saw this coming. I don't
Mhm.
know if a lot of people took the spread. I told you we had this on the podcast last
You
week. We
told
said
you said
take
it.
that spread if you can. Actually, had a buddy that took it and they covered late in that game. Ashton Genty had 2 fumbles. But listen, everyone's like, well, that's the reason why Genty shouldn't have won the Heisman. No, Penn
No,
State, they have
come on.
impressed me. But the thing about Penn State though is they haven't. I don't know, like I don't want to say who have they played because they lost to Ohio State by a
They
touchdown.
lost to
We'll see
Oregon.
this.
Yeah.
They lost to Oregon in the conference championship, so you can't say who have they played because they've been in those games very 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 close.
How do they
We're
get
gonna
sixth
see.
seed though? Jesus,
I don't know. I don't understand this seeding. I really
I
don't.
don't get it.
But this is going to be a great game against Notre Dame. But Boise State, they played as best as they could. The athletes and the talent gap was just a very, very wide margin. But now the pressure is on Penn State to win this national championship,
Yeah.
aside from Ohio State.
What's Boise State's quarterback? You said it. He wouldn't show up.
Maddox Madsen.
Yeah.
No, I think
Yeah.
his stats and watched him play. He's not a very good QB. It was the
Mhm.
Genty show. It was fun to watch Genty. He still looks good at times. I know he just declared for the draft today. He still looks good at times, and the question remains: is will he go top 10? It's leaning more towards he's going to go in the 10 to 15 range,
That's what I
maybe
said.
somewhere in there.
You
But
said
we'll
top
see.
10. We'll see.
I did.
We'll
I
see.
said top 10. Maybe we'll see if a team is that desperate to draft a running back.
Mhm.
However, hats off to Boise State on a great year, but let's talk
Let's
about it.
talk about it. Come on. Come on.
Oh, I'm ready.
You're
Oh,
a big SEC guy.
yeah. Oh, we're
Let's
gonna
talk
get into
about
the
it.
SEC. Oh, no. I've been waiting for this for days. Oh my gosh, I had friends that clowned me, called me, texted me. Oh, I'm so ready for this.
Okay. Notre Dame, 23.
23 to 10. 23 to 10.
Mhm.
It was a good game. A lot of people were saying it wasn't that good of a game. Georgia played the best. I thought Georgia played really good. I really do. You may think I'm crazy with a backup quarterback, Gunnar Stockton, his first true test. With the crazy stuff that happened, the tragedy, and also too want to say a quick moment. Prayers to the families out there that lost loved ones during that tragedy in New Orleans. We never want to see anything like that. It wasn't even about the football game. It was great that they played the game, but there was a lot of things going on. But yes, that was a good game, and you got to give Gunnar Stockton credit for going against a Notre Dame team. Their defense, they say, is arguably the best in college football this year, and Marcus Freeman has got those guys playing. But let's not sit here and say Georgia didn't play a good game. They held Riley Leonard to 90 passing yards. I know he was great on the ground game, but Michael Williams, Jalen Walker, Malachi Starks, those guys are absolute dogs. So we're don't worry. The SEC part, if the SEC is dead, is it died, is it over, we're going to get into that. Don't worry. I'm saving myself for that one. I'm saving my energy. Don't worry. I haven't had my coffee yet for that one. But sticking here on this Notre Dame Georgia game, it was a good game. It really was. I mean, I thought Marcus Freeman, I thought he outcoached Kirby Smart. I really did. That play that he did with that punt where he switched it with that play that he did, the 11 men on, Kirby Smart was wondering, was there 12 men on? How are you allowed to do that? Because in the SEC, you can't do that.
Can't do that.
You can't do that. It was a really weird thing. But no, they punched Georgia in the mouth when it mattered the most. Georgia had many opportunities, but I think Penn State can beat Notre Dame. I really do. Riley Leonard didn't do a whole lot to impress me. I know he's not a big thrower. However, if Jeremiah Love isn't fully healthy for this Penn State game, which I don't know if he is, I know they have Jadarian Price, the freshman. I think you got to lean Penn State in that game, but we'll get into that. But Georgia, Notre Dame, good game overall. A lot of talent on both sides. Hats off to Notre Dame's pass rush on Georgia. They were lights out. They played exceptional. There were times where Georgia's offensive line looked like they were getting pushed back. Georgia held in there as best as they could. The couple fourth downs screwed them. They had that one big pass interference call. But going back to the beginning of the game, oh my gosh, with the walk-on, was it the walk-on cornerback or whatever at 32? Is it Parker Jones? His name is Parker Jones. Oh 39. My gosh, 30. Yeah,
Yeah.
Someone. Like he like, I was like, oh my goodness, no way, no way. That was a big play. But Notre Dame beat them. So, you can have a third string quarterback, a fourth string. They did. However, though, I know it shoulda, woulda, coulda. Georgia would have won that game with Carson Beck, 100% hands down. No, they would have. Because everyone talked about experience with quarterback. Gunnar Stockton's not better than Carson Beck. You're trying to tell me you would rather have Gunnar Stockton in that spot over Carson Beck, who's been there before, who's been to the SEC championship, who's been in big games before. In a game like that, Gunnar Stockton, who's never even had a real first true start against a top 5 defense.
Would it have helped the run game? They abandoned it. They weren't efficient.
They abandoned the run game. Absolutely. There was no run game. They were just throwing. Gunnar Stockton was under duress all day long. Notre Dame's pass rush was elite. Their secondary at times looked a little bit shaky, but they showed up when it mattered.
Wide receiver anymore. We saw it. Carson Beck did not look the same this year.
Oh, you're talking about, yes, this was the question that I had about Georgia going into this game. If the receivers cannot get on the same page with Gunnar Stockton, the continuity that hasn't been there all year long with Dylan Bell, Arian Smith, Dominique Lovett, Lawson Lucky, excuse me. There was just a lot of inconsistency all year long. Trevor Etienne from Florida, Nate Frazier, the freshman, as well. Like, there's a lot of home run guys there, but they just couldn't put it together. Now, however, next year, though, with that Georgia team, they're going to be right back in it. They still have Kirby Smart. Kirby Smart's 5-2 in college football play, and they have Gunnar Stockton back. Gunnar Stockton looks pretty good to me for a first game. I would say he looks pretty good. So, and they're still going to get a NIL. They're still going to get a bunch of recruits. I'm not worried about Georgia.
They just lost a 5-star.
Yeah, I saw linebacker. Yeah. I saw Damian Wilson, right?
Or something like that. But he's a next one
Wilson.
Up. A lot of Georgia fans are upset.
Yeah, I mean they're going to be upset, of course, but it doesn't matter. I think they'll be right back in next year. You got Gunnar Stockton, you got the QB. He looks pretty good to me. They're going to get more recruits. Nate Frazier's going to come back again. Arian Smith, I don't know if he'll come back. Dominique Lovett, I'm sure he's aged out already by now. But yeah, hats off to Notre Dame on that game. They played a great game. I'll eat my crow. I took Georgia to win that game outright. I took Georgia in the money line. I even took them live a money line as well. Yeah, I was very confident. I was like, oh my God, Georgia's going to win this game. They're going to win in a very close game. I thought they were going to come back and win, but that a special teams touchdown absolutely screwed them. Oh my God, that special teams play screwed them. Hey, what's his name? Is it Chase Jeter for Notre Dame's kicker? 98. He was lights out. He hit all his field goals. I was like, wow.
Let's give a special shout out to what's his name? Charles Dew, the corner.
Oh, yeah. He signed with ESPN.
Yeah, signed with AB. Big shout out to him. Big shout out to him.
Yeah. No, like I said, Notre Dame deserved to win that game. They played better. They showed up when it mattered most. So I'm not going to sit here and say Georgia should have won the game. I think differently if Carson Beck would have played, but that wasn't the case. Moving on to this week's games. Wow. Pull up our spreads. Let's go. I'm ready. Give me my spreads. I know Texas was -4.5 coming into this Ohio State game. So we're going to get right into that one right off the bat. Texas, Ohio State.
Okay. Yeah. It's 5 now.
Wow. 5.5. So the line moved to 5.5.
5.5. Total is 53.5.
Oh, both of those teams can score at will. The only problem I have with Texas, though, is can they put it together for 60 minutes? Can Sark manage the game correctly? Because the talent is there. Jadon Blue, Quintrevion Wisner, Kelvin Banks, Isaiah Bond. Oh, my God. Matthew Golden was absolutely electric in that Arizona State game.
Is it Arch time?
No, not yet. Okay, no. Arch will be next year. But Jade Brown, who won the Jim Thorpe Award, Simmons on defense, the defensive end there. Colin Simmons. There is so much talent on this team. The question is Gunnar Helm, can they put it together for 60 minutes? Because if Texas can put it together for 60 minutes, they can beat Ohio State. They can.
Are you saying that because of SEC bias?
No. I'm just saying I don't even really consider them an SEC team. I want them to win because they're part of the.
Wait, that's a good conversation too.
No, I know. They just joined. Yeah, join in. They just joined the SEC. So they are an SEC team, but 6 months ago they were in the Big 12. But yeah, we'll say they're an SEC team. I'm not sitting here saying that. I'm just going up Texas versus Ohio State. I'm not, like I said, I had this conversation with you a few weeks ago, and I even said before the SEC championship, until Texas beats Georgia in the SEC championship or Alabama, because it was Georgia, Texas, they're not the true SEC dogs yet. So they're just another team in the SEC. They're not on top yet for me. They've got to win a national championship, or they got to win the SEC first, because they didn't win the SEC this season last I checked. Now they're in the college football playoff. Totally understand that. However, if they can put together a 60-minute game correctly with the talent they have, and they can get pressure on Will Howard, they can win this game. Oh, absolutely. Texas can win the national championship. They can, 100%.
They can, but let's be transparent. Ohio State, what they just did, they neutralized Oregon's pass rush.
Do you think Texas' defense is better than Oregon's defense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Fair.
Our corners are not good.
If they can get pressure on Will Howard, I think it's a total different game. 100%.
And I'm going to be honest
with you. Look at Texas's offensive line. Now, I could be completely wrong. Texas could get blown out. I don't see that happening.
Yeah. I don't like the matchup of Jeremiah Smith. I see a lot of
Jade Brown?
A lot of Longhorn fans, they want that smoke. I'm telling you, as an Oregon fan.
Yeah.
From my personal experience.
Yes.
You don't want none of that 18-year-old smoke. You don't want none of it.
He's from Florida.
If you double him.
Yeah, I know. You have Emeka Egbuka. Yeah, I know.
And not him. You have Cornell Tate. Is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you right now, guys. Stay away.
But go look at Texas' offense, too.
They're not scary. Did you not just see the three-headed monster I just named?
Do you trust Quinn Ewers or Will Howard?
Will Howard's playing on fire. In playoffs, in college playoffs, it's always who is the hottest
Yes, I know. Yeah, absolutely. Right.
Yeah.
100%. Ohio State is definitely the favorite in this game.
I'm not betting against them.
There's no reason why they shouldn't win this game and win the national championship.
Me.
But I'm not betting against Texas.
No,
Horns
they
up,
traumatized
baby.
me. No, horns down. They traumatized me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Something's happening. Somebody FaceTiming me? No, my camera blanked out for a second. Sorry about that. No.
You're good.
The spread is -5.5 now?
Yes.
Oh man, I hate betting against Vegas. I'm not playing around in this one. Come at me in the comment section all you guys want. I don't care. We're just clowning for the whole Geno Smith stuff as well.
However, not me. You.
Me.
I didn't clown.
Yeah. Give me Texas +5.5 in this game to cover against Ohio State. You know what? Give me Texas to win outright. In Texas. It's in Texas. It's a home game.
No.
I'm riding with Texas. I'm riding with Texas. It's a home game. I'm betting against Ohio State 100%. I don't trust Ryan Day.
He's a father.
He's a bad man. Give me Jade Brown. Give me Texas in Texas. Home game in Dallas for them. No, Austin is not far from Dallas. Give me them in Texas +5.5. Lock it in right now.
Switch the subject.
Right here.
You're
right
here. Clip farm. You're getting clipped. Switch it.
No, let's go. Give me Texas. Oh, wait. I'm not betting against the SEC because SEC bias. Because I love the SEC.
Hey,
so give it to me.
You're technically right now. You're not on fire. Most of the SEC.
Okay.
You're down to one.
All right. Wait a minute. Scratch away the Michigan-Alabama bowl game. Okay, that's a meaningless bowl game.
I'm just saying they didn't have their star players.
Oh. And okay, fine.
All right. So Munroe should have stayed.
How many more years left does he have? 10?
I don't care how many years he has.
Yeah,
he should have stayed. His stock dropped this year compared to last year.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. But against after the Georgia game, he looked really good. LSU game, he looked good. So I like I said, I can't figure out Munroe just yet. We'll talk about Munroe later on, maybe in a later episode. But Texas, let's go. I'm betting against Ryan Day and Ohio State. They beat your Ducks.
He will learn, guys. He will learn. The Big Ten is the best conference in football right now.
Whoa! Yep. Maybe this year, not overall.
Last year too. Who won?
Come on!
Yeah, we're going back to back.
If Georgia, you and I well know, if Georgia got in that playoff last year, they lost to Alabama in the SEC championship. It was a very close game.
Too. Hey, I'm just saying. It is what it is.
I'm with you 100%.
Right, no, listen, keep it pushing. Notre Dame or Penn State?
Notre Dame or Penn State. Don't worry. We're going to get into the best part in a little bit. Notre Dame, Penn State, -1.5.
44.5 total.
Do you trust Marcus Freeman or do you trust James Franklin? Like, this is going to be – I think if any – yeah, he's a great coach defensively. But
talent, Penn State.
Talent, Penn State. That's the thing, too. Drew Aller, Riley Leonard – it's gonna be a very tough game for Notre Dame because their offense, can it keep up with Penn State's offense? Can they slow down Drew Aller? That's the only question that I have.
No.
I'm going Penn State -1.5 in Miami.
Covering.
They will be covering. They'll be.
I'll push it to 5. I'll push it to 5.
Oh, I love the way Penn State's played.
Yeah.
And one of my buddies actually said Penn State's going to Natty. He said he wants a Penn State Ohio State natty
Big
rematch
Ten
from earlier
natty.
in the year. No,
Yeah.
I want Texas, of course.
No, it's not happening.
You don't want to see Matthew McConaughey on the sidelines?
No.
Anyways, no. Penn State, Notre Dame.
They have a good run game.
The Notre Dame's run game or Penn State? Oh, Penn State. Yeah, no, with Alex
Yeah.
Singleton. Yes.
Yeah.
And the other running back, I can't remember his name. There's two. They have 10 and 13. Nicholas.
Yeah.
No, it's
no.
Is it Nicholas? Is it Nicholas Singleton? No, it's Alex Singleton. Please look. Yeah, it's either Is it Alex Singleton or Nicholas Singleton?
Double checking. It's Nick Singleton.
It's Nick Singleton
Katron Allen.
and Katron. That's what Katron Allen. Yes.
Yeah.
Number 13 and number 10. Those two guys are going to be too much for Notre Dame. 100%.
Yes.
Give me Penn State in this spot all day. Drew Aller
Easy.
leads them to a national championship. When was the last time Penn State made a national championship? Oh my gosh. How long ago was that?
If they win, I will buy a Saquon Penn State jersey.
Oh, wow.
Mandatory.
All right. National championship or that game?
National championship.
Okay, let's go on. We'll clip this. Say it. If Penn State wins the national championship, you'll what?
When Penn State wins, I will buy a navy blue Saquon jersey as soon as it restocks.
Oh my gosh. No way.
Yeah, but I'm be honest with you, Jeremiah Smith.
It's not happening. Oh my God. Yeah. How many? Get off your knees for Ohio State, guys.
Dude, I'm telling you.
It was one game. Well, they beat Tennessee too.
No, it was 2 games. They beat your SEC team. They're going to beat another one, and they beat my team.
Nico's very young. He's a freshman quarterback on the road at Ohio State.
Stop making excuses.
Stop making excuses. SEC teams don't play well in cold weather. BTA. Big Ten Association?
No, Belt to
Oh, Belt to Oh my gosh. All right, fine. So we got Penn State, Notre Dame. We covered that, and we had Texas, Ohio State.